Okay, guys, so continuing on my journey through Peruvian soups, this is definitely one of my favorites, especially so if you're a seafood lover. This is the king of seafood soups in Peru. Anything that could be close to it here in the States that might be familiar to people. The Italians have Chipino, I think it's called. It's very popular, I heard, in San Francisco. This soup is strictly Peruvian because of the ingredients that I have. The ají panca and ají mirasol. Those are the two ají or chili peppers that are indigenous to Peru, which give this a special taste. Not only that, some recipes call for white wine or even chicha de jora, which is a corn beer that is made in Peru. But why not use the king of liquors from Peru, pisco, which is a distilled liquor, or sometimes called brandy, from grapes, kind of like the grappa that the Italians have, but the grappa is the leftover of what the wine made. Pisco is direct grape juice from different grapes. It makes it different grades of pisco. This one is an acholao, which means they use two grapes, a mixture of two grapes to make this pisco. Very aromatic, tastes like grape, strong taste, and it will help the glaze when I do the onion. Now, ingredients in this puree. What do? This is a two-step process when you make this soup. You gotta have fish head or fish bones. If you buy a fresh fish and you fillet it, always keep the bones, always keep the head, because that's what makes a great fish stock. So since this is a fish and seafood soup, I made a fish and seafood stock. So what I did is, since I have crabs, mussels, shrimp, and octopus, I grabbed a few crabs, a couple of mussels, I peeled the shrimp, and had a fish head, and just made it boil until it got really concentrated, strained it, and now I have a really great seafood fish stock right here. So once you have that going, you can get going what this is called a base, or a base to a soup like this or any similar soup that has a red color to. So this has leeks, red onions, whole garlic, tomato, red pepper, a little bit of the ají panca, carrots, celery. Okay, and that is sauteed until it's kind of translucent and kind of almost cooked through, but still have some texture. Once you get that, you put it on in a blender and you blend it until it's smooth puree that you have here. Now this could be easily frozen, kept, and brought out when needed. But those are the two little secrets where you don't have to chop and reduce every time you do this. You can keep this in your fridge or in your freezer and have your fish stock also, so that all you would have to do is buy some fresh seafood and prepare it as soon as you get home. Because it's a long process to chop up all these vegetables, cook it down, blend it, make your fish stock, all that stuff, just to have one bowl of soup. But at the end, it's worth it. Now, if you can cut ahead and do all these steps, it makes it better just to prepare and have all the ingredients ready. So I'm going to start. Now, the seafood, fresh as possible, of course. I buy shrimp with the head on it, because when you cook shrimp with the head on it in a soup, it gives a really good broth. So I leave it, I devein it, take the shell off, leave the head on. It's good for presentation also. So you have mussels, shrimp, squid, octopus, scallop, crab, and I bought what was really good in the market. You can buy any fish fillet that's on sale and fresh. I saw this really good cod, really good and fresh. Looked really white and fresh to the market, so had a good price on it and got it. So I cut about, you want a good 3-inch portion for each bowl of soup that you're gonna give. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, you have a little pot like this and get the seasoning going. So I'm gonna saute some onion and garlic and Peruvian peppers, the ají panca and ají mirasol. We'll get that going, and then after that, it's basically putting it together. Get the red onion in. Get the ají mirasol. It's about a teaspoon and a half. You got ají panca. Another teaspoon and a half. Then you want to saute this. On a pretty good heat. Now this soup is very popular, obviously, in the coast of Peru. Very popular in Callao, which is our port city, our biggest port in the country. It's a constitutional province, just like you could say like Washington D.C. is. It's very proud in its culture and has created a lot of our seafood dishes. And this is one of them. I remember the first time having this. I was in Callao, and one of the first few times that I went to Peru, and my uncle, my aunt took me with my cousins to go eat at this cevicheria, place where they have a lot of ceviche and different types of seafood dishes. And I remember saying, wow, why am I going to have a soup in the middle of the summer? Ceviche, I can understand, it's cold, it's refreshing, but why am I going to have a soup? It's kind of hot, So once they brought that out and I saw that big bowl and that crab and shrimp and all these things coming out of it and a nice little fillet of fish on top, I was like, wow, that looks really good. Even though it's hot right now, I think I'm going to have that. And once I tasted it, it was just amazing. It was just a concentration of flavors and different mixes of seafood, of fish, textures. It was just really good, and it reminds me all the time of having those days when I used to go with my aunt and my uncle and my cousins and go eat at the restaurants, at the beach and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put a little garlic. I'm not gonna put much, because that puree has some fresh garlic in it. So I'm gonna put like a little less than a teaspoon. Puree that. Right now, if you would see in the pot, the ajis are separating from its liquids to its concentrated flavor. So you would see the oil start separating, see little bits of aji start drying up, and that's what you want because that's where all the flavor and color is. And what's gonna help it to deglaze and get that all those little bits and hydrated again is this pisco, and this pisco is gonna give it a good flavor also. So you can probably put like a little more than a cap. You can try to measure it or just throw it in and judge. I'll do that. Probably a little, about like a shot probably. Pisco peruano, always peruano. Always Peruvian pisco, don't let them lie to you. Okay. So that helped deglaze the bottom. All the alcohol should be evaporated already. Okay, so this is where you want to add the broth. Actually, I forgot one thing. I want to get the cumin in here. And then we can add the other spices. Just a little bit. Now we can add it. So you kind of want to almost get it to the top. You should see, if I can just have you smell this right now, you would see the difference with everything that is Peruvian and everything that is not. These peppers is what makes it. They kind of complement to a lot of different meats. Sometimes, you know, some peppers or some seasonings don't mix well with different meats, but for whatever reason, these peppers are very versatile when it comes to using it for seafood, using it for beef, using it for chicken, using it for lamb, for basically anything. You can use any of these peppers and they mix well. If I need to add more, I'll add more. So I'll spread it around. So this is when I add all the puree that's in here. Like I said, there's leeks, red onions, tomatoes, red peppers, carrots, celery, and garlic, and a little bit of ají panca, and it's pureed. So for this amount of soup, I would say 2.5 of these spoons right here. After I'll stir it, I'll see if I need more. Maybe just a little bit. Stir that in. Okay, great. So now we get this to a boil. And we'll add some white pepper. Salt. some Ajinomoto, seasoning salt, not much, just a little bit to bring out flavors. Stir it. Give it a little taste. Need some salt. Okay. I'm gonna get this